What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some more I Do Work Here Lady stories for you. I worked there, please don't arrest me. Some time ago, probably around 2010, I worked for a pizza franchise. There was a manager on vacation at a location I did not work at, so I was asked to fill in the time for them on my regular days off. The franchisee found out that I would be working at that store and asked me on the second day I worked there to do a full audit of the store, because she was suspicious people were giving her incorrect numbers. So because this audit took a while, I was leaving the pizza place at 2 AM, and another important detail is I did not have a key to the front of the place, only to the back, so I parked behind the store, left, locked the back door and started to drive off. When I got to the exit of the parking lot, there was a sheriff car going 3 to 5 miles an hour in the right turn lane that turned into the place I was working. He was going so slow I had enough time to consider pulling in front of him several times, but I decided to just sit there thinking maybe he is on his computer and as soon as I pull out he will zip to full speed. This sheriff car turns right into the parking lot I am pulling out of. I pull out and see the sheriff car turn around in the parking lot and get right behind me. He turned on his red and blue lights right as we were getting to a McDonald's. I was like, oh frick, why? I pull into McDonald's and go into the first available parking space, turn my dome light on, roll down the window, literally roll down the window, my car did not have power windows. Now the guy comes up to me shouting, "What were you doing in that parking lot?" I pointed to the pizza company logo on my shirt. The guy is then a little nicer. "Oh, people have been robbing other businesses in that strip mall. I'm sorry to do that." I thanked him for considering our safety and then I went on my way. There you go, guys. A nice little innocent I do work here lady story to start you off. But let me tell you, this next one, yeah, it's not going to go the same way. Kevin assumes every woman in construction is a receptionist. Hint, we're not. This happened about 20 years ago. Equal opportunity was becoming a thing in the workplace, but in construction, things have a habit of not quite keeping pace. I'd been working for a manufacturing company in construction for several years. As the only woman in the sales area, I was given the task of manning the phones as well as operating in support. Men generally would accept me putting them on hold for someone else in technical, while the guys tended to have to work harder to put them on hold. It was just one of those things, but it was logical. One day, a call came in. I said, "Good morning, we're company. How can we help you today?" Kevin was on the other end of the line. Yes, I'd like to speak to one of the guys, please. I have a question." "That's no problem. If you let me know what you need, I'll be happy to help you out." "Oh, no, that's okay. I'm happy to wait for one of the guys." "Unfortunately, all the guys are busy on other calls, but I can help you now. I work in the sales section here as well." I'm looking at my co-worker now who has turned to look at me. He knows that voice. "That's fine. I'm happy to wait. I prefer to speak to one of the guys." My co-worker and I are looking at each other. We know what's going to happen next. "No problem. Let me put you through." I put this gent on transfer, not breaking eye contact with my colleague. He is looking right back as he reaches out a hand and picks up the receiver. "Good morning, we're company. How can we help you today?" I can't hear the conversation, but there's silence as Kevin talks. My colleague keeps his eyes on me as he listens. Finally, he speaks. "Oh, you need to speak to the chemical specialist. Let me put you through." A smile is starting to quirk my lips. As a person who has a lifelong love of science and chemistry, I naturally fell into specializing in what chemical products we sold. Over time, I ended up being the go-to for anything to do with technical queries. My colleague is still looking at me as he transfers the call. We are together in this golden moment. I reach out and pick up the call and bring the receiver up. "Good morning, how can I help you?" There is a long, pregnant silence on the line. Finally, Kevin speaks. Hello, I was being put through to your chemical specialist." This is better than that time my bestie made me cookies and forgot to tell me they were augmented. My colleague and I are grinning like fools. Maybe the phone is augmented. "That's me." After a silence while Kevin digested this horrifying news, to his credit he managed to successfully process that I might be able to help him. The discussion went on normally from there and I was able to sort his problem immediately. He even said thanks before he hung up. "No, thank you, Kevin." That was awesome. That just put a grin on my lips reading this and seeing you and your co-worker doing the tag team approach. That's just phenomenal. That is such a mic drop moment when your colleague says, "Oh, you need to speak to the chemical specialist. Let me just put you through," and it's you again. Unreal. But yeah, guys, you've got to remember it is 2020 now. A lot of women have the same jobs as men. And to be honest, a lot of women are way better than those men at those jobs. Moving on to our next story, the unfortunate side effects of being Asian and over 25. Unbeknownst to most people that come into contact with me, I am above the age of 30. You wouldn't be able to tell that much by just looking at me, but I am of half Asian and Caucasian descent. You can call it really good genetics or what have you, but it has become a curse sometimes when you get mistaken for a teenager. It also becomes a small problem when your demographic is tweens, young adults, and therefore have to hire people without discriminating on age, and try to accomplish things and teach them about the in and out fashion trends of the current generation. Anyways, so without going into much detail, I was set to open a new store, our third to be exact, in the brand new mall that recently opened, and tasked both by my marketing manager and the new store managers to find suitable people within the month to fill in our new store with fresh faces and delightful customer service. It took them 3 weeks, but we got most of our employees sorted out. During the last week before we opened, I happened to be attending a convention at a nearby state which may or may not have involved some geeky stuff, which is beside the point. So I packed my bags and was gone for an entire 5 days and 4 nights to let loose my inner geek. Whilst I was gone, my marketing manager decided to hire her niece as the last employee we needed. We will call her Bernice, I think that would suit. She asked me for permission to avoid drama and backlash and employee conduct and yada yada yada, but being as this wasn't a Fortune 500 company but rather a family-run small business, I wasn't against the idea. This, however, backfired. I returned the week after to find that sales were doing all well. Ordering and replacement of merchandise that had sold and needed to be restocked were being taken care of, as I knew they would be. And all in all, things were looking good for the new store. However, apparently we needed new employees because 3 of them quit unexpectedly. I walk in during a cold November morning to browse the aisles and see what was out of stock and what was selling, what styles were selling quick and what styles we could do without. It took me about 4 hours or so to really post everything to my phone, and about 3/4 of the way in, I realized there was a shift change and that I needed to grab lunch. So I went out to the area where the food court was, had my lunch, and decided to finish up what I needed to do for the day and let my store manager know what needed to be done, which merchandise needed to be pushed, what clothes to put on display, etc, etc. It was about 3 in the afternoon when Bernice walked in for her shift. As I was too busy doing what I was originally doing, I paid no mind and continued on. About 5 minutes in, I realized that she wasn't alone at the cash register. Next to her was her fully tattooed up boyfriend just snuggling up on her in public view. He literally had his hand down her blouse and his tongue so deep in her throat that it made me gag. I issued an ahem. She scowled at me, not knowing who I was, and stuck her tongue out in raspberry fashion. I walked up and said, I don't think that would be very appropriate for customers to see. I'd appreciate it if you two wouldn't use up all of that pent up energy for the PDA you're showing. Half grimacing, she looked at me and uttered, yeah? Who the F are you and what the F you gonna do about it? Free country, you don't have to look if you don't want to, you effing pervert. Now at this point, I knew that I had 2 options. One, I could have some fun with this and really make her feel really bad and ashamed of herself. Or 2, realize that my policy of nobody talks to me like that, ever, and fire her butt on the spot. Unfortunately, my years of fun are gone and I'm a businessman and this was driving away business, so I opted for option 2. Ah, that's a shame. Bernice, was it? Yeah, how the F do you know, bro? Did your brother tell you that? Oh my god, are you Jimmy's brother from English class? I said, no, Bernice, I'm your boss. I'm the owner. I'm the reason why I allowed your aunt to hire you here. I'm also the reason why I want you to pick up your stuff and get out of my store. I will pick up your shift and take care of it myself. You'll get your check at the end of the week, thanks for all your hard work or lack thereof. Now leave, or I'll have more security escort you out. I could tell by the look on her face that she didn't believe me at first, but then came into realization that she may have seen my face somewhere in the back of the break room, where I keep some of my pictures to commemorate my other 2 stores. Needless to say, I have not seen her around that mall again. Her aunt spent the next 2 days apologizing to me, but it wasn't her fault. I didn't need to hear it, I don't blame her for that, and I had to see it for my own 2 eyes to believe it anyway. I found out later that the 3 employees who quit left because of Bernice, her unwillingness to work with them to accomplish goals, and her blatant lack of respect for them. Her boyfriend also apparently enjoyed closing the store with them at night, and they felt uneasy about it because they said they didn't know whether or not to trust him. I don't think I could have been more lenient with her, to be honest. I rehired them, and 2 of them are still valued employees to this day. Some of the details are shady when it comes to this story, but I remember the important parts. It was probably the worst and best job site story I've had in a while. You know what, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, when you said that you weren't going to have some fun with Bernice, but after hearing that she made 3 people quit, I do not blame you for firing her on the spot. She just sounds like an absolute wrong and someone that you do not want in your company, no matter where they are. And also, what the heck, they enjoyed closing up together, Bernice and her boyfriend. I wonder if they might have been doing something else in your store after closing. You might want to check the security footage. Anyway guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/IDOWorkHereLady. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. You seem to be loving this series right now. With that being said, if you want to see all my r/IDOWorkHereLady videos, you may have missed some in the past, I don't know, you can click this playlist right now and binge them all. Also, if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post daily Reddit videos for your enjoyment. With that being said, I will see you guys all tomorrow with another.